It's time now for the All-State Playoff Predictor presented by All-State, where we take a look at a number of things like whether or not Ohio State should drop out of the top four. Now, you see a lot of these results over here in terms of chance to make the playoff entering Week 13. Georgia being the top team. And you see Florida State there at 56%. A lot of things happened today. So we had a vote on if you guys think Ohio State should drop out. A lot of you said yes. 78% of you said they should drop out of the top four rankings. But our All-State playoff predictor still likes Ohio State. Now, had it been the other way around, like let's say Ohio State beat Michigan, Michigan's chance to get into the playoff was a lot lower. In the middle of the week when I checked, they dropped it to 13%, Sam. Might be a little bit higher had they actually done it. But I think they just didn't respect Michigan's resume as much, and they respect Ohio State's clearly.
Unfair. I don't understand that. You're putting so much weight. I don't know who it is, but the general consensus is putting so much weight on Ohio State's win over Penn State, who also lost to Michigan, and they're putting a ton of weight on a Notre Dame team who lost to Clemson last week and a Notre Dame team who has scuffled down the stretch of this season after a strong start. So outside of that, like, okay, what are you telling me? Now, what I will say is Ohio State does have 6 wins over bowl-eligible teams this year, which I guess is where you can get that number of 60% or whatever it is after the loss. Like they have beaten teams that will play in bowls this year, but as far as ranked wins, like top 5 or top 35 FPI wins, like Alabama has 5 of those.
All right, so I really want to let's get back to this discussion because I'm almost fidgety talking about the ACC championship.
Okay.
I see it in the YouTube chat right now.
What are they saying?
Wolfpack or Florida State? What is the committee going to do with these 2 undefeated teams? Now, I'm going to say this. Tate Rodemaker going into the game, it brings me back to 2014 with Ohio State, right? Ohio State had JT Barrett go down right before the last game of the season, and Cardell Jones took over and ended up leading that team towards becoming a national championship team. But what everybody needs to remember with that team is that they had one Ezekiel Elliott in their backfield. Here are Ezekiel Elliott's numbers. And right now you see Trey Benson running for it, right? Florida State does not have an elite running back like Ezekiel Elliott because Ezekiel Elliott in Cardell Jones' first game had 220 yards rushing. Second game for Cardell Jones in the Sugar Bowl, Zeke had 230. And then in the national championship game, Zeke had 246. He had more rushing yards than Cardell Jones had passing. So a lot of people are bringing it back to that situation, kind of comparing it. And I think the committee was able to say, all right, we're able to still put Ohio State in because they are the right team. So the question is Florida State the right team if they go undefeated and finish off, or are they the most deserving team?
That's the toughest question because they've done everything they're supposed to do up until this point. Obviously, they still have to beat Louisville in the ACC title game next week. And if they do that, how are we supposed to punish a team that goes undefeated in a Power 5 conference, that wins these ranked matchups, and leave them out? It just doesn't sit well with me. I don't know how else to say it. Like, you know, like they should be in because they did everything right. When you do everything right, you should be rewarded, right? It's pretty basic civil class, right? Civics class. But no, like that's not always how it works. And sometimes the better team on paper doesn't get in.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm checking out the YouTube chat all the way throughout the show. The dude in there, he said we have 3 elite backs. We as in FSU, bro, you don't have a Zeke. That's what I'm saying. You guys do not have an Ezekiel Elliott, but they are very, very good backs. Now, Ryan Day, after the loss in the game, as we know, he's lost 3 straight. Absolutely demoralizing, and people are literally calling for his head. While this dude has won 88% of his games with the team, I know out of all the games that he's won, he probably wants this one the most. Here he is, post-game.
Yeah, I try to keep, what we talk about in the locker room to ourselves, but we're all disappointed. We know that what this game means to so many people, and And so to come up short is certainly crushing, not only just because you invest your whole year in it. We know at Ohio State what this game means. And so, there's a locker room in there that's devastated. And it wasn't a lack of effort, but again, we didn't win the rushing yards. We didn't win the turnover battle. So you're not going to win a game.
Give me something.